Time for another eBay unboxing, and I'm finally getting my voice back from laryngitis. All right, so my husband purchased this for me, and it was a spur of the moment. I saw it, I had to buy it now, and he was kind enough to get this for me. And the seller was like just selling like thrift store junk. Once in a while, you'll see somebody with thrift store. And when I say thrift store junk, I'm talking about like contemporary crap. You know what I mean? Once in a while, you'll see a thrift store seller that has a good thing. And it's very rare. Not that I have anything against thrift store people, you know, that flip and go to thrift stores. But you could tell it was like thrift store stuff. All right. So far it seems to be packed decently. It's fragile, so let's hope it's not broken. Oh, where is the item? Oh, okay. I think it's at the bottom here. Oh my God, it's so tiny. Oh, no wonder I couldn't find it. It's actually much smaller than I expected. Oof. All right. Sometimes tiny is not bad. Sometimes tiny is just fine. But I would have liked it better if it was bigger. But I'm not going to complain. Here we go. So I could tell in the pictures that it just needs a good cleaning. And what we have here is a scent bottle. This is beautiful. It's a chatelaine scent bottle. And if you don't know what that is, I've probably said this a million times in my videos. A chatelaine is a chain, and it's a French word for, I believe, something to do with a chain or to hang or something like that. I don't have a degree in French, trust me. And so this would hang, this little loop here. They generally call these finger rings, but as you can see, it's too tiny to fit a finger. I don't know. I mean, it sort of can. And ladies were much daintier and tinier back then. But this generally would have hung from a hook around a lady's waistband. So let's try to get a close-up of this item, a clear close-up. There we go. It's porcelain. Generally, these are mostly made out of glass. And this is porcelain, and it has silver inlay. Don't know if you can see that. But that is definitely silver inlay. Let's flip it over. We have the same design on the other side. Now, the bottles generally came with a stopper, although 90% of the times they're missing or they're broken. I'm going to guess that this one is missing because they're almost always missing. Let's try to get a focus. There we go. And of course, it's missing. You can see the porcelain inside. I always give them a whiff. I'm going to give it a whiff and smell it. Oh my God. That smells so good. Now, there's no liquid in there. But the funny thing is about these old perfume bottles is 90% of the times you can still smell the old perfume in them. I don't know how or why, but this bottle was probably made in the 1880s, possibly the 1870s, and you can still smell the perfume. Although it's actually gone, it leaves a lingering scent in there. Really cool. All right, so this brass, by the way, this is not gold. This brass really needs a cleaning. And I don't know if you can see that, but right here on the little ball chain is some verdigris. Verdigris is caused a lot of times by moisture on metal and changing climate from going from hot to cold with a lot of moisture. So if you don't take care of that, if you don't get that verdigris off, eventually that will actually eat through the metal. And this little chain will disintegrate. So I'm going to have to clean that. I will be back. I'm also going to clean the silver with a Q-tip and a little polish. And I'm going to try to just shine this up slightly. Although it is brass, you don't want to take the coating of it off. You know, like it's generally lacquered, the metal. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, clean this. I'll be right back. We'll talk more about these type of perfume bottles. Now let's take a look at it dirty, because in a moment we're going to see it clean. All right, so as you can see, I cleaned it. Look how shiny it is. Let's get in there close. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. Almost like a graduated color. Gradiated, I believe they call that. You can see the different color. Almost like a peach blow if you're into pottery. Well, glass, actually. Peach blow is almost like several different colors of peachy pinks going into a layer. And then we have this gorgeous design on the front and on the back. I cleaned as much of the verdigris as I could get off. It looks actually much better. I even cleaned the cap. And so commercial perfumes actually were being made in the Victorian era, actually even earlier than the Victorian era, but they weren't widespread. It was mostly for the wealthier people. because it was very expensive to make commercial perfumes. Commercial perfumes actually, the process of actually pressing the flowers to make the perfume or the scented oil was very, very, very hard because they didn't have what we have today, like the industrial machines. Not until about the late 1800s were they able to start making machines with like some of them started out at like 4 horsepower, and then early on into the early 20th century, probably the Edwardian era, they had machines that had like 100 horsepower that could actually press the oils out of flowers. There was whole industries across Europe, especially in France, where they had flower fields just for making scented oils. Now, another thing was when they started to make the more expensive perfumes more commercially, because they were able to actually finally get machines to produce the oil from the flowers quicker and to put more of these bottles of commercial perfumes out there. Like, perfumes like we know today, I'm talking like Chanel and stuff like that. But back then they would have like different type of scents. Mostly, believe it or not, I believe it was like lilacs and gardenias and lavender, and I'm trying to think, rose oil and stuff like that. What happened is that the rich people started noticing that the middle class and the lower middle class was wearing the same scent as them. And then so a once expensive, really like highfalutin perfume would no longer be purchased by the rich. And it went out of favor. So perfumes went out of favor very quickly. Now, before they can get commercial scents and perfumes and scented oils in commercial bottles, and they did do this at the time. They did have commercial bottle toiletries. The women would actually have their own scent flasks. They would go to their local apothecary and purchase the oils separately. Take a funnel and pour their scented oils into these travel bottles, which is quite cool. They came in all designs, mostly out of glass. You don't see them very often out of porcelain. And these were mainly made in Europe, also England and the United States of America. But most of the ones you will find on the market today were made in France, made in like Austria, made in Bohemia, which we know is the Czech Republic today, and widespread across Europe. And then when people emigrated in the early 20th century to the United States, this is how these pieces got here, which is quite interesting. Now, this one would be your average middle class bottle, perhaps maybe a little upper middle class, because we have the silver. We have the gorgeous, gorgeous porcelain. This would have hung from a lady's waistband on her belt. There would have been like a belt clip. And this little round circle you see my finger in would hang from a hook. Why? Because they had to walk around with these scent flasks at all times because everything smelled awful during the Victorian era. People didn't bathe this frequently, and body odor was a problem. Not only did they put scented perfumes and oils in these bottles, they also put smelling salts or ammonia inside these bottles for when they fainted. And they fainted quite often due to the constricted clothing that they had to wear, especially the tight-fitting corsets around their waist. So they would pass out quite frequently, and they would need to have some kind of like smelling salts. So this could be either a salts bottle or a scent bottle. Let's check out some more porcelain ones that you'll find on the market. And about how much did these things go for? Now, what did I pay for this one? $50. Well, my husband did. And he wasn't too jazzed about it, but he was kind enough to buy it for me. So I just wanted to show you peach blow. And peach blow was glass, not porcelain. But around the 1880s, it became very popular, especially ones made by Thomas Webb and Sons. And this is glass, and you can see the graduated colors. Generally, it would go from pink to yellow, but you can see it's this graduated style that is probably going to date our perfume bottle to about the 1880s. And there's some more peach blow, again glass. So I just wanted to show you a couple of examples you might find if you're antiquing. This particular one is really opulent, as you can see from the $3,000 price tag. This particular one is English. A lot of the porcelain ones were English, but not all were English. And so here's one example. We'll go to another one. Here's another one with a hand-painted porcelain portrait of Queen Louise of Prussia. And we have the chatelaine. Let's check that out. There we go. Missing the stopper. Price on that one is $580. Then we have another example here. This one is of dancing girls. Here we go. It looks like a bunch of Dutch girls. We have the same chain and same finger ring as mine, being sold for $465. And we have another one over here. This one is hand painted with a courting scene, very lovely, with the chatelaine chain and ring, being sold for $495. So not only did these bottles come in these little flasks hanging from chatelaines, they came in this beautiful atomizer style. And this one is really, really quite pretty. I have my flash on just so you can see the painting. And this came in an Aladdin style atomizer. This is a very early one from the 1890s. And let's turn it around. And you can see the beauty of the porcelain and the hand painting. So what type of price would I sell this particular bottle for? Well, if I had an Etsy shop, honest to God, I wouldn't let this go for less than $400 to $500. Now you might say, well, that's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, on eBay, you're not going to see those prices. Now we saw those buy it nows on eBay with those high prices. I will tell you right now that those particular bottles will not be easily sold on eBay at those prices, but will be easily sold on websites such as rubylane.com, First Dibs, and Etsy. Now, one of these type of bottles on eBay on auction would probably only generally see between $75 to $125. That's not to say that they're not worth way more. The problem is antiques are subjective when it comes to price. So what one person will spend, another won't. And so I would not put less than, I'm going to go at $400 to $500 in my Etsy shop. Why? Because this is absolutely exquisite. You don't see these things every single day. They're getting harder and harder to come by. And the beauty of them is like a snowflake. No two are alike. So once again, thanks for watching. See you guys all soon, and so long.